Good morning. So in last lecture we have seen the AC analysis of first stage of op-amp. So today we will continue the same lecture. So we have completed this first stage AC analysis. We have calculated input impedance, output impedance and the short circuit transconductance. So up to this point we have already calculated. This is the input impedance of gain stage and the short circuit transconductance GM2 of gain stage or second stage, and this is the equivalent circuit. So this is input impedance Ri2, this is output impedance R02, and this is the dependent current source, that is GM2 Vi2. So now if we are coming to calculate the output resistance, so if we see, we have to see what is the net resistance if we are looking from this point, that is we have to calculate R02. So for calculating this, if we see this node is connected to two branches, so we will have to consider these two branch resistances. So here this is the simple output resistance of transistor Q13B. So we will say R0 13B, and now we have to calculate the net resistance if we are looking in this branch. So this is the equivalent diagram if we are going to calculate what is the net resistance looking into the collector of transistor Q17. So here if we see the previous diagram, at the base of transistor Q17 we have resistance R0, and if we are looking upward, so there will be emitter resistance of transistor Q16. The net resistance will be Re16 if we are looking into the emitter of transistor Q16. So this has been modeled in this way. So this is the resistance looking into the emitter of transistor Q16, and this is resistance R9. So Re16 is much smaller than R9. So we can say the net resistance in the base of transistor Q17 is much smaller. So the drop across this resistance can be ignored and we can replace this base as a grounded node. So now circuit analysis is simple. So applying this formula, we can calculate the net resistance if we are looking into the collector of transistor Q17, that is R017. So here this Re is nothing but resistance R0, R8, R pi is again 1 plus beta times small re of this transistor Q17. So we can calculate the R017 as 787 kilo ohms. And R013B, if we are looking in this transistor, the collector of this transistor, so this is coming as 90.9 kilo ohms. So the parallel combination of this and this will give the net resistance in this node, that is R02. So here in next slide we have theonized this particular equivalent circuit. So if we will theonize this particular equivalent circuit, so the Thevenin voltage across these 2 points, this current will flow in this way. So we will say the net voltage will be minus of GM2 Vi2 multiplied by this resistance R02. So here we have represented this current source by this voltage source, and now this resistance, the effective Thevenin resistance, will be simple R02. So this will come in series. So we will use this Thevenin equivalent circuit for calculating the overall gain of 741. Now another important point which is related in the 741, what is the upper and lower highest swing? So if we will see, the upper swing is limited by the saturation of transistor Q13A, while the lower swing is limited by the saturation of transistor Q17. And this is the output voltage V0. So if we see what is the highest positive voltage which 741 can provide. So we will see here we have supply VCC. At this point we have supply minus VEE. So we will say this is emitter collector saturation voltage, then base emitter voltage of transistor Q14. So we will say the highest voltage which we will get for 741 is nothing but this voltage minus this voltage minus this voltage. So we will get VCC minus saturation voltage of transistor 13A minus base emitter voltage of transistor Q14. So this will be the highest positive swing. So if we see, so this is approximately 0.2 to 0.3 volt. This is approximately 0.7 volt. So we will say the highest positive swing will be slightly at almost 1 volt less than VCC. So if we are using plus 15 volts as a positive supply, so we will get highest positive swing as 14 volt. Now coming to the lowest negative swing. So here it is limited by the saturation of transistor Q17. This resistance R8 is very small, so we can ignore the drop across this resistance R8. So again, so from this point to this point, we see we have emitter base voltage of transistor Q20, then emitter base voltage of transistor Q23, then collector emitter voltage of transistor Q17. So we will say the net output voltage, the highest output voltage will be this voltage plus this voltage, emitter base voltage plus this voltage minus of then VEE. So here it is minus of VEE, then collector emitter saturation voltage of this transistor, then emitter base voltage of transistor 23, this voltage, and then emitter base voltage of transistor Q20. So this is the lowest negative swing. So if we will see, again this is approximately 0.2, this is 0.7, this is 0.7. So this will be approximately 1.5 or 1.6 volts. So we will say the highest negative swing will be this much below minus of VEE. So suppose supply is minus 15. So we will get some 13.5 volt, minus 13.5 volt as highest negative swing. Now coming to the small signal model of output side. So here we have seen this is the output produced by the gain stage, then output resistance of gain stage, and then obviously we will have some input resistance of output stage, and then we have represented the output side, a dependent voltage source, and the final output resistance R out of output stage. And this is the load which will be connected at the output of op-amp, that is at pin number 6, if we will see the pin diagram. So here we have already seen that V0 is equal to minus GM2 R0 to Vi2, and this has been, GM has been calculated as this, and R02 is already calculated as 81 kilo ohm. Now we have to first calculate the input impedance of output stage, means we want to calculate. So first we will calculate the input impedance of output stage, that is R in 3. So for this purpose, this is the R in 3. So for calculating this, we will have to first calculate what is the input impedance if we are looking into the base of transistor Q20. So note that both the transistor Q23 and Q20 both are working in common collector mode, that is they are behaving as an emitter follower. One more thing, if we see the output stage, we have transistor Q20 and Q14. So at a time only one transistor will conduct. So here we have assumed right now transistor Q20 is conducting. So if for calculating the input impedance looking into the base of transistor Q20, we will have to take some load condition. So what is the effective load connected at the output terminal? So here we have connected some load, let's say RL. So this RL is connected into the emitter of this transistor Q20, and along with RL we have resistance a small Re of this transistor Q20. So again, if we see the small signal model, T model, so this is the collector side, this is current alpha IE, then this is base terminal, this is collector terminal, and this is a small Re resistance, and this is emitter terminal. So here between collector to emitter we have resistance R0. So we will say we have resistance, this terminal is grounded. So we will say if some load, let's say RL is connected here, so resistance R0 will be in parallel with RL, and then here we can connect resistance RL. So this resistance is in parallel with RL. So R0 parallel RL plus Re. This will be the net resistance which is connected in the emitter of transistor Q20. So here we have denoted this input resistance as Ri20. So here net resistance R0 parallel RL plus Re. This resistance is available in the emitter terminal of transistor Q20. And since we are looking from the base of this transistor, so that this net resistance will be amplified by factor of 1 plus beta of transistor 20. So this is 1 plus beta 20. So here we know, so here we will take RL is equal to 2K. So obviously R0 is much smaller, much greater than RL. So we can ignore R0. Now this Re is approximately 160 ohm for transistor Q20. So we can ignore this Re also. So we will get RL only. And here beta 20 is much higher than 1. So we can ignore this unity factor. So the net resistance Ri20 will be beta 20 multiplied by RL. So this will be the net input impedance looking into the base of transistor Q20. Now, for calculating R in 3 means the net input resistance of output stage, we must have idea of the resistance if we are looking in this branch. So if we see, this is the network of transistor Q18 and Q19 which is connected in series with this transistor Q13. So we will say the net resistance in this branch is sum of resistance this plus resistance of this transistor. So So net resistance in this branch is this network plus this network and in parallel with RI20. So here we can see RC13A, the resistance of this transistor plus resistance of transistor Q18 and Q19 is the net resistance if we are looking in this branch, and this is in parallel with RI20. So this is the net resistance available in the emitter terminal of transistor Q23. So this network, this resistance of network of transistor Q18 and Q19, this is much smaller. So we will ignore this. So we will get RC13A, and this is 280 kilo ohms. And RI20 we have already calculated as 100K if load resistance value is taken as 2 kilo ohms. So the net resistance at this point is RI20 parallel 280K. So 100K parallel 280K, and this will come as 74 kilo ohms. So now we can easily calculate RI3. So again, if we see, we will have emitter resistance of transistor Q23, that is small re. So we will say the net resistance will be available in the emitter of transistor Q23 will be 74 kilo ohms plus a small re of transistor Q23. So again, and R naught resistance. So we will say 74K in parallel with R naught plus a small re of transistor Q23. This multiplied by 1 plus beta 23 of transistor Q23. So again, if we will see, this Re is much smaller, and we can ignore this unity factor. Here we can ignore this R naught also. So we will simply get beta 23 multiplied by 74 kilo ohms. So this will come as 3.7 mega ohms. So it is desirable region. Both the transistor Q23 and Q20 both are working in emitter follower configuration, that is common collector configuration. Now, following this small signal model, we have already calculated V naught is equal to minus GM2 R naught to Vi2. Now we can calculate the voltage gain of second stage, that is gain stage. So we will say this is the loading we have considered, loading of output stage over the input stage. So we will say the gain of voltage gain of second stage is nothing but Vi3, the voltage developed at the input of output stage, and the actual input Vi2. So this will be given by, so here we will apply the voltage divider. So we will get minus GM2 R naught to R in 3, the voltage across this, divided by the net resistance of this branch. So this will come as minus 515. So this is the voltage gain of second stage. Now we can calculate the open circuit voltage. So open circuit voltage, here we have represented GV03. So V0 is equal to GV03, the open circuit voltage, multiplied by V02, and again voltage divider rule we will apply. So voltage V0 across resistance RL is RL divided by the complete branch impedance multiplied by V03 dot V02. So this is nothing but the open circuit voltage gain of output stage, which is the product of voltage gain of transistor Q20 and Q23. If we assume very high input impedance of transistor Q20 and Q23, in that case means we are ignoring the loading of previous stages. So in that case, both these gains will be approximately equal to 1. And the net overall voltage gain will be approximately 1, open circuit voltage gain. So here we can verify this also. So let us consider transistor Q20. So for transistor Q20, what is the exact voltage gain? So this will be, again if we see transistor Q20, so here what is the output voltage? So output voltage is taken across RL, and this RL is also in parallel with R0, and we have one emitter resistance small Re of transistor Q20. So we will say we are taking the voltage at this point V0, so we can again apply the voltage divider rule. So we will get voltage gain of transistor Q20. So voltage across this net parallel combination divided by the complete impedance, that is R0 parallel RL plus RE. So here R0 is much higher than RL, as we have assumed RL as 2K. So we can ignore this R0. RE is much smaller than RL, so we can also ignore this small RE. So here again R0 is ignored, so it will become RL by RL, that is approximately 1. So gain of, in similar way we will say gain of transistor Q23 is also 1. So this factor will, open circuit voltage gain of output stage is 1. Now we will calculate the output resistance. Output resistance, that is R out. So as we know, the output resistance of 741 should be very small. So we will see how much value we will get. So let us calculate. So for calculating the output resistance, if we are looking in this branch, this is R02. So for calculating this, again we will have to see what is the net resistance at this point. So if we are going to calculate net resistance at this point, so again we have two branches, net resistance of this and net resistance of this. So we have already calculated the overall resistance of this network. And if we are calculating the resistance looking into the emitter of transistor Q23, so again recalling the T model, we will see here resistance R02, the loading of gain stage. This resistance is present. So we will say whatever resistance is present is base, that will be divided by 1 plus beta, and resistance small Re of this transistor. So we will say R023, let's say this resistance is R023. So this resistance divided by 1 plus beta of this transistor plus small Re resistance available in the emitter of this transistor. So net resistance is this much. So effective resistance connected at this node is this resistance in parallel with resistance of this complete network. So R023, if we will solve, this will come as 1.73 kilo ohms. So here Re3, small Re resistance of transistor Q23 we have calculated based over the bias current which we have already calculated. Now, so net resistance at this point is R023 in parallel with this. So we have already ignored this part, and this RC13A, this is approximately this 200. So RC13A is 280 kilo ohms. So we can get the net resistance at this node. So coming back to calculate the final resistance R0, so we will say net base resistance is approximately equal to R0 23. Reason RC13 is 280K, which is much higher than R0 2, which is 1.73K. So net resistance will be approximately equal to R0 23. So R out is equal to, again, base, available base resistance is this much. So R0 23 divided by 1 plus beta of this transistor plus small Re resistance of this transistor Q20. So net output resistance of 741 IC is this much, and solving this we will get this as 34 ohms, and this is desirable. So output impedance of 741 should be very small, so this is quite a small value. So in next lecture we will see what is the overall gain of 741 IC, and we will have idea of slew rate. So for today it is enough.